Well, the 2025 MLB season has come and gone. A big congratulations to the LA Dodgers on once again being kings of the MLB and winning another World Series championship. Sorry, my voice is a bit hoarse after watching that game last night, which was an incredible game. Toronto Blue Jay fans, I send you my condolences. That was heartbreaking to watch. 90 feet. You were 90 feet away. Hurts. That hurts. Now, I also wanted to say a big thank you to the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. I wanted to say thank you because I was obviously rooting for Toronto. I've made that very clear that I don't like the Dodgers. However, I will say, I obviously was rooting for the Blue Jays, so it was crushing to watch them lose like that. But what I will say, what I will say, is it was entertaining to watch that series. Regardless of who you were rooting for, you gotta admit it was a very entertaining series. And in all honesty, I'm not even mad. I am upset, but I'm not mad at the fact the Dodgers won. And I'll tell you why. That series brought me back into loving baseball. It reminded me how much I love baseball, the game of baseball, and why I fell in love with it to begin with. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because recently, especially over these past 2 or 3 months, I haven't really been enjoying baseball the way I used to. And that, you know, that's a side effect of a lot of different things. For me personally, this has been a bit of a challenging year to say the least. And on top of that, watching the Pirates do the same thing every year, it's not super awe-inspiring. Like I watched just about every single Pirates game this year. I think I missed like 8, 9 total. So all in all, pretty good run. And so watching that team kind of hurt my soul a bit. And like, look, I want to make this very clear. I'm never gonna, jump ship. I'm never gonna not be a Pirates fan. Unfortunately for me, but after watching that whole season and watching, and just again things going on in my personal life, kind of started to fall out of love with the game of baseball. And you know, that series brought me back. And I didn't even watch a ton of postseason baseball this season because I was just so. I just wasn't interested. I just was not interested. But I decided to sit down and watch the World Series, and I watched every single game except for part of game 3 because that game went until like 3 a.m. Another classic game. And I didn't watch game 2 because I was busy that day. Everything about that series was incredible to watch. I mean, we saw everything in that series. We saw everything. I mean, we saw an incredible comeback in Game 7, no less. That was incredible to watch, regardless of who you were rooting for. It was incredible to watch. We saw a complete game. We saw Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitch an absolute gem of a game in Game 6 to force a Game 7. I mean, everything about that series. I haven't even gotten to the historical stuff, you know? I mean, it's crazy, man. How and the fans, both fans on in both stadiums, Dodgers and Blue Jays, especially the Blue Jays, absolutely electric atmosphere. And I realized that's why I fell in love with the game of baseball. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, Ernie Clement hitting 30 hits, I think? Yeah, 30 hits. He broke the record for most postseason hits. I believe it was Randy Arozarena who had that record before. Of course, the Blue Jays starting off a World Series game with back to back home runs, first time ever. I mean, just everything about that series. Like, we saw everything. And it ended with a spectacular Game 7. And I will put it this way: if you did not enjoy that game last night, you're simply not a fan of baseball. And I think that's as simply as I can put it. Because that game had everything you could want. That series had everything you could want. And it is because of this series that I have fallen back in love with the game that I love. And I thank the Dodgers and the Blue Jays for that. For giving us an amazing series, regardless of who you were rooting for. And I don't know, I just wanted to come on here and say that. Wanted to recap the series, give my thoughts on it, and just talk about how I fell back in love with the game of baseball. Anyways, I guess that's it for this. Probably at some point later this week, I'm going to make another baseball related video. Just breaking down my thoughts on the upcoming off season. Might talk about the Pirates a little bit. We'll see. Haven't decided yet. Regardless, don't die.